Welcome back to another edition of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Charles Inferno. We're at Forts Athletics. We equip coaches and athletes with the tools they seek out in order to achieve their unique and specific goals. We are recording customary Monday. Today's Monday, May 9th, 2022. We're on our way to school. We're going to recap our conference championships today. And it's something to behold or watch or admire as a coach that hopefully coaches out there at conference meets or just other meets in general kind of take a step back sometimes and just like admire what's happening, like the moment that they are part of, and just kind of like, I don't know, bask is the right word, but just kind of like take in the moment, like we ask our athletes to be in the moment, be in the present, and just enjoy the process that we've all been going through. Because we're all really in the same boat. Practice hard for 5-6 days a week, go to a track meet, have a day off, do it all over again for 20, 25, 26 weeks, at least at the NCAA level. But we had our conference championships this weekend. It was really cool. We were home, which kind of added a nice touch to the situation. And I don't think we could have scripted it any better as a team for how well not only our track athletes competed, but all of our field event athletes also. It's something to be said where you put all the pieces together and you kind of like what happened this past weekend, where a lot of our athletes, everything started clicking and started coming together, and you could see it in their eyes, you could see it in their body language, you could see it in the way they communicated with their teammates, you could see it in the way they just carried themselves in the competition, that they were confident, they looked excited, and they had enthusiasm. And it's really awesome as a coach when you get to see that happen in front of you, and it's organic, and you don't have to give a big pep talk or do any of that such, and the kids are just fired up on their own. And there was a lot to be fired up about this past weekend. Like I said, we really couldn't have scripted Saturday any better, and I just kind of take a pause and just think about like how cool it is. And hopefully the athletes appreciate like what they're actually like living through in the moment. I'll get into that, but we had discus and hammer competitions on Saturday. Yesterday it was Shotput and javelin, so it was a Saturday-Sunday meet over Mother's Day weekend. And kids went off into discus. We had 3 qualify for finals, women's discus. Nicole won discus with just a throw 1 centimeter under her PR, which a centimeter, that's just where they put the stick down on the ground, right? And then Emma finished 3rd, and Kenzie snuck into the finals, 6th place, and in the finals she was surpassed. So we scored 16 big points in the women's discus to get things going. Nicole is her first meet in a while, in a few weeks, going over 33 meters again, so really excited. Really set the tone for what was going to happen in the men's discus, where there were 2 guys, Dylan and Dan from Penn State Barron, who man, I tell you what, I don't know if I've ever been in a competition outside of nationals where just throwers went back and forth feeding off each other, especially in the men's discus. Dylan had, 4 throws over 50 meters. He in round 2 went 52.25, personal best, conference record, meet record. Conference record, meet record, personal best. Yeah, that about sums it up. And then Dan went 49.20. He finished 2nd. So Dan's throw also would have eclipsed the old conference record and the old conference meet record also, which was high 47s from a few years ago. So they went back and forth. Dan had, I think, 3 throws over 49 meters. So it was a really great competition, and it was great to see how they kind of fueled each other and throwing. I don't know, it's just really cool. Like, I'm at a loss for words watching that, because I've never seen 2 guys throw that deep, like I said, not at nationals. So it's really cool when you have athletes that have a mutual respect for each other and are able to communicate that in competition and try and bring themselves up to another level. And they didn't disappoint. James fell into it also. James finished 3rd in the discus as well. So we had a great showing. The first event going 1-3 for men's and women's discus. Then we got women's hammer going also. Nicole won women's hammer, 38 meters and change. Kenzie finished 6th, so we scored 11 points in the women's hammer. So Nicole was a double champ. Conference, I believe that might be a conference meet record. I'll have to go back and double check, because our conference is relatively brand new, like 2 years, no, not 2 years, 4 years maybe, ever since we, as Alfred State, transitioned to Division III. So relatively new. So it might be conference or conference meet record, championship record throw to win the hammer. And then similar outcome in the men's hammer. Dylan threw 52.40, so he barely beat his discus mark in the hammer. And then James finished 3rd. So again, we had another 1-3 in the men's hammer. Dylan's marks also set the conference meet record, conference championship meet record, and he had 3 throws over 50 meters also. So really consistent was the name of the game as well. With so many throws going so far, you just watch the athletes' confidence go up, because they're seeing the results of all the hard work and everything they've been doing all season, and for our returning athletes from the seasons before. So we had 2 wins, 4 wins, I guess, 2 double champs on Saturday. And then Nicole and Emma went 2-3 in women's shotput on Sunday, yesterday. Dylan won the shotput with a new personal best also, 14:25. So he missed going 50-50-50 by about a meter, so about maybe like 3 feet or so of 50 meter discus, 50 meter shot put, 50 foot shot put, 50 meter discus, 50 meter hammer. I don't know how often that's happened around here in D3 where you have an athlete go over 50 like that, because I think maybe the more difficult to attain would be the discus. So we really don't have too many 50 meter discus throwers, D3 from this region, at least, Western New York anyway. And to cap it off with having to go over 50 in the hammer and then shot put, sometimes that's a tall ask for our kids. But like I said, couldn't have scripted it any better. It was a great weekend, warm weather, a little breezy, but nothing the athletes couldn't handle. And I shared this with them after the competition, like how proud I am of not their performances and their distances, but more proud about how well they came together as a group, and everybody stayed and watched and supported. Our track athletes who weren't competing came up to our throws area, watched our throwers. When our throwers were done, we went down to the track and supported our track athletes and our other athletes that were competing in the field events. So overall, it was a great weekend for Alfred State track. We have another meet, I believe, on Sundays, kind of like a last chance before the last chance qualifier. And then the regionals would be next week, Wednesday, Thursday. So 10, 11 days out. And then nationals starts Thursday, May 26th. So really we're about, a couple weeks out from nationals. And as far as men's discus, Dylan jumps up to number 3 in the country with his throw. So there's a couple guys from the Midwest over 55 meters. And then we have Dylan at 52.25. And then we have a whole huge group of guys at 51.50 up. So 10th place is right around, or 10th ranking rather, is right around 51 meters. And 20th is Dan from Penn State Barron at 49.20. So when I was doing some math earlier in the season, the average, give or take, for the last entry to make it in the nationals is about 50 meters, so top 20. And that really hasn't changed so much in the last 10 years or so at D3, where usually you throw 50 meters, you're going to go to nationals. That's pretty much a guarantee. Have there been other seasons where it hasn't gone? Yep. 50-10, 50-20 one season. So it's not a 100% guarantee, but you're really likely to make it if you go over 50 meters. And then in hammer, Dylan still has an outside shot. He's 43rd right now. 55 meters would take him. 54.89 is 20th. And then 55.04 I think is 19th. So you're looking at 55 meters. And the same with discus. 55 meters, over 180 feet. It's a huge throw for what it takes to get to nationals. And really it's a testament to coaches and athletes, just preparation and developing the skill set and the technique to get you to throw in nationals. So that's kind of like a recap of this meet. We got a couple more to go before the big one. And like I said, I'm just so proud of the athletes and how well they came together as a group and how well they supported each other, and distances and the outcomes and things. It's just icing on the cake. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Charles Inferno. Have a great day.